Hi, I'm Raman.
I'm Amanda.
Maria.
I'm Alex.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Zakia.
And I'm Samantha, the Indigenous Community Coordinator.
We are your KPU recruitment team.
At Kwantlen Polytechnic University, we have 7 faculties. Most of them are pretty straightforward. We have academic and career advancement. That's where all of your upgrading courses would fall.
Next, we have trades and technology with programs like mechatronics, millwright, and plumbing. We also have our Wilson School of Design that has programs like product design, interior design, fashion design, and so many more.
The School of Business includes accounting, marketing, human resource management, and information technology.
The Faculty of Arts includes fine arts, English, sociology, criminology, psychology, and history.
The Faculty of Health includes programs like healthcare assistant and traditional Chinese medicine. And then lastly, there's the Faculty of Science and Horticulture, which includes environmental protection technology, biology, and of course, our horticulture programs. These are just a few examples, as KPU has over 140 programs. We have 5 campuses. This is where we're located on a map. On our Surrey, Langley, and Richmond campuses, you can take your arts, science, and business programs. Richmond is also home to our Sustainable Agriculture, Traditional Chinese Medicine program, and our Wilson School of Design. Langley is home to our Faculty of Health, so the nursing programs and the healthcare assistant program would be run out of this campus, and then the Faculty of Science and Horticulture is located here as well. We have our Tech campus located in Cloverdale, where all of the trades programs are, including mechatronics and CAD.
To get you from each of our campuses, we have our KPU shuttle bus. It goes from the Langley campus to the Cloverdale campus to the Surrey campus, Monday through Friday, and it has free Wi-Fi.
We're a polytechnic university, so we pride ourselves in providing students hands-on practical experience.
One of those ways to get that experience is through cooperative education.
Another example is practicums. Another way for students to get practical experience is our labs.
At KPU, our maximum class size is 35 students, and this really allows for a collaborative and supportive environment.
And it's not as intimidating to ask questions if you don't understand a topic right away.
So many of these programs are offered on a part-time or full-time basis. Personally, I love having these flexible options at KPU as someone who's working through post-secondary.
At KPU, we have Canada's first zero textbook cost program. That's basically when you can register for a class and you don't have to pay for any textbook fees. We offer tons of classes that have zero textbook costs. You can even do an entire bachelor's degree in general studies without having to pay for a single textbook. And those are huge savings.
So let's talk about student awards and financial assistance. KPU offers nearly $2 million in scholarship. That's a lot of money. So take it from me, this is something that you're going to want to look into. Our Student Awards and Financial Assistance Department has advisors that you can reach out to for help.
KPU offers tons of international programs, from exchange programs, field schools, to summer schools. I myself am from Japan. I attended the exchange program here in Canada, and now I live here. It's definitely a life-changing experience. You should check it out.
Does all of this sound like a great fit for you? Once you're ready to apply, you're going to go to kpu.ca/apply and fill out the application form online.
And lastly, here's our contact information. You can email us at study@kpu.ca or give us a call at 604-599-3030. We'd love to connect with you. Welcome to KPU's virtual open house.
Hello, I'm Alan Davis, President and Vice Chancellor of Kwantlen Polytechnic University. At KPU, we are grateful to work and learn on the traditional ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people, which includes the Kwantlen First Nation, from whom we take our name, and we thank them for sharing their land and resources with us in friendship and in peace. Wherever you may be joining us from today, we invite you to explore all that KPU has to offer, from unique programs and innovative approaches to hands-on education to the learning opportunities outside of the classroom. In addition to a well-rounded academic education, KPU offers diverse interdisciplinary experiences both locally and globally. KPU is always open to the community and to those dedicated to learning. I invite you to tune in to today's live event, showcasing just a handful of the engaging, relevant, useful, and entertaining work that we do at KPU. We take great pride in providing our students with the tools they need to launch successful careers in any discipline and in preparing them to become good citizens. And we also remain enthusiastically committed to building relationships with the communities we serve and providing them with qualified and engaged graduates. After our live event ends, please explore the resources on our permanent KPU Live webpage. Learn more about our 7 faculties, take a virtual tour of any of our 5 campuses, and discover what's possible at KPU. Thank you for joining us at our virtual open house. I hope you enjoy a few hours of fun, learning, and discovery with our KPU community. And I'd like to invite LaCayton, our elder in residence, to say a few words of welcome to you.
Osiam, my dear friends, Ethan LaCayton, Talitzakwa, Kwantlen, Elder in Residence, KPU, Misep Kotwilam, welcomes you today. Kwantlen territory. We are the lowercase of the Stalo Nations territories. 8 nations from Kwantlen down to the ocean. 23 nations from Kwantlen to Boston Bar. This is our territories of the Halkamelam and Hankamelam as we speak. Kwantlen is how you pronounce that. Tireless runner. Students, you're part of this journey with us. We are part of your journey. The name you carry is very important for you to remember how to respect where you come to and what you bring. Most of all, my dear friends, what you bring to us is more important than what we're sending out. We care about these things with a great heart and mind that was given to us. Welcome to the open house, KPU. The 5 campuses that are here welcomes you today for their yearly event. We're going to do Heartbeat Song. Heartbeat Song connects everything in the environment, the earth, the water, the land, the oceans. Heartbeat Song because the earth has a heartbeat. Everyone in the university will have the same heartbeat each day. Welcome you, Heartbeat Song from the Kwantlen First Nation. Whoa, ho, ho. Nusep got film. I got everyone. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thanks for taking the time today for joining us. My name is Ken Abad, the International Recruitment and Admissions Coordinator for KPU.
I'm Hannah Seneko. I'm a Student Recruitment Coordinator in the Future Students Office with Domestic Recruitment.
While unfortunately we can't welcome you on campus for this open house, we'd like to take the time today to talk about our experiences as students from KPU. We're both alumni, and believe it or not, we're both sociology majors. Hannah, when did you graduate from KPU?
So I graduated in June 2019, and then I actually started working at KPU August 2019, so I never really left, honestly. So when did you graduate?
Oh, you're very recent. That's awesome. I graduated in 2016, and I started working at KPU on November 2019 last year. So Hannah, why did you choose KPU then?
So I chose KPU because I live really close to the Langley campus, actually, so that was definitely a role for me, going to school close into my community, so I didn't have that much of a commute. I also really liked the idea of small class sizes. So as you know, obviously our max class size is 35 students. So for me, I just thought that would make the transition from high school to university just a little bit more of a smoother transition if I could be in an environment where, okay, this class size isn't that much different than the one that I was in high school, right? So that was definitely a role for me as well. And then lastly, KPU also did offer me the President's Scholarship. So that was able to cover my tuition, so I'd be lying if I said that that didn't play a role in why I chose to come to KPU, but receiving that scholarship, honestly, it felt like winning the lottery, and it helped me to really focus my time on my studies because I was able to work like very, very part-time then and really focus on my work at school.
That's amazing. So for me, I chose KPU because so I live in Richmond as well, and there's a KPU campus in Richmond. So my home was pretty close there. I grew up in Richmond. And I thought it was close to home for me. And I really loved the personal relationship you could have with your professors with the small class sizes, as you mentioned. It was a very different experience. I sat in seminar classes before, and it didn't feel very personal, and I really enjoyed the small classes at KPU. And I think that's one of the greatest things about KPU is the multiple campuses within Metro Vancouver. So there's always going to be a campus near you wherever you are in Metro Vancouver, and it's very accessible through the inter-campus shuttles.
Totally. So where did you take most of your classes? I'm going to assume that you're going to say Richmond.
Yeah, so in my first and second year, most of my classes, I took it in Richmond campus. But going into third and fourth year, when I was trying to dial in all my sociology courses, I was taking most of my classes in Maine, Surrey. So I found myself taking the inter-campus shuttle once in a while between the campuses, Richmond and Surrey. And I also drove my personal vehicle.
So living in Langley, I took most of my first and second year classes at Langley, which was super awesome because I was able to choose my classes, my time and schedule, open intake program. So I was able to really fit what worked well for me. But then my years 3 and 4, those were more on Surrey campus. And I also definitely took advantage of our KPU shuttle bus. I would either like park or get dropped off at Langley and then take the shuttle that goes from Langley to Cloverdale and then Surrey and then back. It's just a great way to save on gas, but also like use that time. So I would use it for like studying, or like if I'm really tired, I would sleep on the shuttle. So like definitely took advantage of that. So what's something that you wish you had done as a student here at KPU, but you just didn't get the chance to?
My biggest regret would be that I found myself dialed into classes a lot and studying more. I didn't really have the chance to join in and take part in extracurricular activities such as sports clubs, student clubs, and volunteering. How about you, Hannah?
So that is definitely a regret that you should have because I got involved and it was a really great experience. It really adds to your student experience instead of just going to class. So I did volunteering, I was an orientation leader, and I cannot recommend that enough to students just to really get the full university experience, you know. That being said, I do also have a regret. So I didn't do I'm sure you know of our study abroad program. I would have loved to do that. The idea of it was so amazing to combine travel and study. I have no idea why I didn't take advantage of that. Every year I was gonna be like, this is the year, I'm gonna do it. And I never did. So that's for sure my biggest regret. If I was to do it all over again from the beginning, I would do study abroad. We've got partnerships all over the world and it's so cool. So that's mine for sure.
And that's really something to keep in mind is being open-minded and trying everything, trying things outside your comfort zone.
Totally. So our last question. and it's a hard one, what is your favorite memory from KPU?
Well, that's a tough question, but what stands out to me is the annual Sociology Research Conference. I had the opportunity to present my research in front of sociology students and professors. And it really hit the nail on the Polytechnic of Kwantlen Polytechnic University with the applied learning. I took the theory of learning classes and I was able to apply it into real research and present it like in a real conference. And that's something that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. How about you, Hannah?
Oh my gosh, really tough. I mean, an entire degree, right? Singled down to one memory. I'm gonna kind of cheat and say my overall favorite memory, which was the instructors. And the instructors specifically knowing who I was. That was a really big deal for me. That's something that I will continue to remember forever. And I mean every single instructor, every class that I took. I'm not just a student number in their class. They took the time to know me, get to know me as a student. I could visit their office hours, and I felt like they genuinely cared about me. You know, they wrote reference letters for me when I continued to apply for scholarships. And for me, that was just, I'll forever remember that. Thanks everyone for watching. We hope that us sharing our stories was able to give you a better understanding of the KPU student experience.
And we hope you enjoy the rest of the open house.
Hi, yeah, I'm Andy Smith. I'm the farm manager for the Sustainable Agriculture farm here in Richmond. We have 2 sites. This is our Garden City farm, and then we have another farm down right on the Fraser River in South Richmond. So right across the street, there's high-rise condos. Across another street, there's a Walmart supercenter. And so we're really right in the middle of the city of Richmond. And so it's a really exciting place to farm. The Sustainable Agriculture program at KPU is a science-based program, and so like any science program, whether it's chemistry or biology or physics, there's a lab component. This is our outdoor classroom, this farm here. Students do research projects here, and they get hands-on experience in an important piece of that is to farm as much of the year as possible. And so one way to do that in the South Coast is to use some protection. So we are growing year-round here, and so the fields over here to my right are the spaces that we're growing on through the summer. So we've got crops that we rotate through. So we have different crop families that we'll have in a plot for a particular year, and then the next year we'll rotate that, and we use cover crops as well to help restore the soil in between. So there's definitely different crops that will grow in winter than grow in summer. So in winter, with that extra protection, unless we're adding extra heat, we're not going to have tomatoes or peppers or eggplant. But we can grow some leafy greens and some root vegetables that do okay in those colder temperatures. So what I'd like to show you is our movable high tunnel setup. And so the purpose of this is to maximize the growing season with being able to move the structure onto the crops that need the protection at the given time of year. So let's go ahead and head inside, and we can take a look at what's in there. So you can see in this structure, it looks very similar to a greenhouse. It basically is a greenhouse, but greenhouses are permanent structures and high tunnels are structures that can move. And so in here we've got bell peppers and long sweet peppers, and then some smaller peppers, and then a couple different types of eggplant. And so these crops really benefit from the extra heat that a greenhouse gives it during the day, as well as overnight, the temperatures are not going to be getting as low. And so with that extra protection overnight, the plants grow at a much faster rate and will have higher production. Part of why we wanted this particular setup to demonstrate for our students is that importance of extending the season, the growth season, as long as possible. And what that allows farmers to do is to have revenue, income coming in throughout the year. In our program, we see it as absolutely critical that students are really an integral part of decision-making on the farm and actually working on the farm to get that hands-on experience. That's another key component of our program is the sustainable part of our program. And so how do we reduce, as farmers, reduce our reliance on fossil fuels is a really key question for us. And so having this on a solar setup is one way that we're demonstrating that. And then probably the most significant way that we're demonstrating that is with our greenhouse dome, which you would have seen kind of the main entrance of our farm. And so that is a completely passive building. And so I'll take you over there and show you that in a minute. And so really what we're focused on here is a science-based approach to farming. So giving our students enough of the scientific understanding of what's happening in the soil, how are plants responding both to the soil and other environmental interactions. So to have enough of the science background to understand what it is that they're seeing in the field, but then to have a lot of field exposure as well, both through their own research, through participating in others' research that's happening here, and through participating in the production spaces that we have, or the production work that we're doing throughout the year, and to see how that progression changes from January when we're starting those first seedlings all the way through December when we're harvesting greens out of the high tunnels. So I look forward to inviting you to come and visit the farm at any point, and hope you enjoy the rest of the virtual open house.
My name is Mike Rumpeltis. I'm a welding instructor here at KPU. Welcome to our virtual open house. Welding is a red seal trade. Here at KPU, we offer foundation level, B level, and A level welder training, as well as apprenticeship level 1, 2, 3, and a multi-process alloy endorsement. Here at KPU, we offer our students state-of-the-art technology, world-class faculty with a diverse background, and industry contacts that have enabled them to find employment at the end of the program. We have students that work throughout industry when they complete the program. Some of them go on to work in the shipbuilding industry, local fabrication shops. There's endless opportunities for welders out there. You know, I tend to think of so many things around us are built using metals, utilizing metals. From the automobiles we drive to work in every day, to the ships, the trains, the trailers that we see on the highway, transporting our goods all over the country. They're all made out of metal. All that a person has to do is stop and look around to see how much of our infrastructure relies on welding. Today I'm going to show you an example of oxyacetylene cutting, grinding, and flux cord arc welding. We begin by opening our acetylene valve, lighting the torch, adding oxygen until we achieve a neutral flame, and then we can begin our cut by preheating our base metal to the correct temperature. Once the base metal is at its correct temperature, we can continue on with our cut. We use the grinding process to remove slag from the material and prepare it for welding, while keeping in mind that we need to direct sparks away from ourselves. After we've cut our material with the oxyacetylene welding process and prepped it with the grinding process, we can then fit our two pieces together, and we're going to weld it with the flux cord arc welding process. Flux cord arc welding process is very fast and efficient, and we can get these two pieces welded together quite quickly. After the weld is complete, the slag must be removed with a chipping hammer or other processes. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you enjoy the rest of this open house.
Something smells delicious here, James. Smells like the office again. I would just like to take the moment to just talk about what we do here in KPU International. So as you may all know, my name is Kenneth the Bad. I'm an international recruitment and admissions coordinator, and this is my colleague James Ho. He's an international support assistant. Today we asked James to cook this today so we could show the diversity we have in KPU International. And what we have in our department really reflects our student body as well with our international students. And what we do in International is that we're here to support international students. James is one of the first people to take a look at your application to KPU as an international student, and I will follow up with the admission process as well. So James, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're cooking here? Where's this from actually?
Okay, so this is actually called zicai gao. It's something I learned from my mom. It's basically pretty popular in Taiwan, but the origin of this dish is actually from mainland China. It's mainly made with sweet rice and lavered, which is a type of seaweed. Before we started, I soaked the rice in water for 2 hours. You want to soak it for at least 2 hours and a maximum of 3, no more than 3. Otherwise the rice would be too sticky. All right, so next we're gonna put in a fresh batch of water. We want 2 cups in here. So that's 2 cups. So this is when we will add the laver. So this has been soaked for around 30 minutes. Just soak it with water and you drain it afterwards. So we'll also add 1 teaspoon of salt. And lastly, we'll put 2 eggs in here. Okay, so once that's done, you want to put oil on this pan, the cake pan. Okay, I'll just pour in everything, all the contents into the cake pan. Now you want to flatten this. So if you're using a rice cooker, you want to put 1.5 cups of water. For this rice cooker, it's probably going to take around 20 minutes. Once it's done, you're going to have to wait another 10 minutes to let it steam inside. Okay, so once it's done steaming, you want to take it out and let it sit for at least an hour until it's cooled down. Alright, so this is just going to take a few minutes to pan fry.
Looks delicious. Oh, this is delicious, James. Not too spicy. Just the perfect amount of spice, the nice earthiness from the basil, and just nice, delicious, healthy. The rice is not too sticky, and you got some crunch from the outside. Absolutely delicious.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for taking the time to show us this beautiful recipe and just to show the diversity we have in KPU International. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the open house.
Our academic and career preparation program is designed to help individuals upgrade their skills in order to prepare for university, meet entrance requirements, or assist them in completing the BC Adult Graduation Diploma. Here joining me today to speak about her upgrading experience is Emily. Thanks for joining us, Emily.
Thanks for having me, Kim.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am a mother. I have 2 children, 2 boys, 12 and 7. I'm actually upgrading my mathematics, and I just finished upgrading my English as well.
Excellent. So how did you hear about KPU's upgrading programs?
I actually heard about it through online, through Googling. I found KPU, saw that there was upgrading available. KPU has always had a great reputation, and also online had amazing reviews, and it's close to home for me, which was super important, being the fact that I have a family. I needed that easy access. I came in to register, and through talking to wonderful ladies on the phone, I just fell in love right away. It was just so welcoming and upbeat and positive. I never felt like I was too old for school or anything like that.
Was there anything else that you had some doubts about coming back to school?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, not only am I in my 30s with children of my own in school, but I didn't do well in high school. school was never really my strong point, those books, you know? So I really was unsure of whether I was able to make the cut for university. Just through talking one-on-one with professors, I got a lot of encouragement, a lot of support, and it really just gave me that final push that I needed, knowing that I had people in my corner.
Could you tell us a little bit about what the experiences at KPU has done for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a wonderful experience here. I've made long-lasting friendships, which I really didn't think would happen, again, being a mature student. I've made friends with people from all different age groups, demographics. I've gotten to learn a lot about youth these days coming into university, given my input as an older student and gotten a lot of input from younger students as well, which has really expanded and broadened my views, which I really appreciate. I also have come across Sue Lee. She was my English instructor for upgrading, and she was just amazing. Absolutely amazing. She was funny, she was very just lovely spirited, there was never any pressure. She really took her time to make sure that her students understood what was being taught and had that full concept before she felt confident continuing onwards, which was just phenomenal. It's really increased my English.
So for our viewers once again at home, if they're sitting there thinking, I don't know if I could do it, I don't know if I could go back to university, what bit of advice would you give them?
You know what, 2 years ago that was myself. So I think that we really get into our own heads. We really are our own worst enemies. And you're never gonna know if you can do it or not unless you try. You can't fail without an attempt first. And usually you end up succeeding. So absolutely, regardless of your past or your grades or any struggles that you have, it's absolutely worth a shot, and it's really increased my own self-confidence.
My name is Heather Lippold. I'm the Instructional Associate and Ceramics Technician here in KPU Ceramics. What we really strive for here is to create a sense of community with the students and to hone in on craftsmanship. So it's something that we find a lot of pride in here in the studio. Students are really active in the KPU studio and in the broader community. They hold annual sales, they do cross collaborations with other programs, and they're often doing fundraising for their own workshops and going to national ceramic conferences. So they're in the studio quite a bit. It's a rigorous program, but we really want to make it welcoming for everyone. Ceramics has this really rich history, and with it comes traditional processes. So this program really builds on those processes, whether it's with hand building, wheel throwing, ceramic mold making, and slip casting, to actually making their own glazes in advanced levels. Students are coming from so many different disciplines and skill levels. We really want to encourage and foster a community that is really rich in interaction, and really for students to share their knowledge of the space and what they're working with as well. Because this base foundation is really at the heart of the department, building those skills and building that craft with the faculty and with their peers. Having trust in the faculty and staff and in your own classmates is really at the heart of the ceramics studio. Here in KPU Ceramics, we have a multitude of tools students can use. We have a full studio of wheels, a full plaster room. There's a glaze lab for students to create their own glazes. We have a really wide range of kilns, including a state-of-the-art Blau that we just received from the Netherlands. So students really have the capability to create big and also just use their own voice in their own work as they come out of this program. I hope you folks really enjoy the rest of the virtual open house, and I hope to see you soon at the KPU Ceramics Department.
Welcome to Kwantlen Polytech University's Electrical Department. This is our shop area, and this is where we do the practical work to do with our foundations program. Today, we're just going to go through a few items here. Stephen's doing a little project, but before we get started here, what I wanted to show you was we have a box for all of the students that has all the necessary pieces of equipment in it, as well as we have a wire rack here that has all the wire using for the project. So what Stephen's going to do is he's going to put the devices on the boxes. So this would be a typical project given out to the students, and they would have to put all these applications on. They would have to get approval from the instructor before they energize it, and then they would go from, they'd be marked on their workmanship, how the wire's been put in, how the terminations have been made, or different items together.
So what I've got here, Mark, or where I'm to with this is I'm just finishing off my connections. I've run all my NMD wire around, and I've attached all my points of securement on all the places. I've terminated the 3 different items, and I'm just finishing off this switch right now. So if you bear with me, and we'll just finish this off. We'll tighten down our grounds, and we'll attach our last point of connection nicely clockwise around the screw, and use my Robinson number 3 to tighten it up. And at the moment we won't attach everything just yet, and we'll let Emma inspect it when she comes over. Okay, so now that we've completed the switch, we will attach the light fixture, known as a keyless light fixture. It's got 2 screws here just to tighten up. Now we'll grab the LED light bulb and we'll screw it in nice and secure, not over tighten it, just nice and secure there. And we'll energize it using our little plug-in, and we'll just verify that it actually works. Okay, that's pretty good. So now I'll defer to Emma, and Emma will come over and inspect my project and my wiring.
Hi, my name is Emma Bagan, and I'm an electrical instructor here at KPU. I'm just going to come in and inspect this project that Stephen has completed. So a couple of things that I'm looking for are correct application of the Canadian Electrical Code. So proper supporting of the cable, smash plates or protector plates where the cable goes through a wall or a support, making sure that terminations are done really well. Then I'll come in here with a multimeter and just check the voltage. So between your identified conductor and your ungrounded conductor or hot conductor, you're going to want to read 120 volts. So I'll take my probes, making sure that my fingers are back from the metal part, and just put them across the points. That's approximately what I'm reading right there. This would be for a foundations program, but as you work through your apprenticeship and your levels of schooling, you're going to learn more and more about the field and the applicable codes that you would follow.
Hi, I'm Jenna and this is Sylvana, and we are colleagues who have worked together at KPU for a few years now planning events. And the KPU Virtual Open House is our latest event. At every event that we plan, we usually have a contest of some sort. We're very competitive. Usually it's how many steps we take in the course of an event. Today, we're not doing our step challenge, we're doing a blood pressure challenge. So we're gonna see which one of us is calmer. Sylvana, yes. On a normal day, do you think you're the calm one or me?
I think I'm the calm one.
I think you're right.
The more you laugh, the higher it will be.
Oh, okay. Stopping laughing. How's it feeling over there?
A little tight.
A little tight, hey? Mine feels fine.
Oh! 62 over 92.
Oh, man!
125 over 88. Oh. Were you?
You won.
Pressure?
Well, I had to do the talking.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, let's do it again where Sylvana has to do the talking.
Oh, God!
All right, well, I'm sad to announce that Sylvana has won the blood pressure challenge. I'm going to do some meditation, work on this, and next time I'm taking the gold medal on this one.
When you're starting university, it's easy to get focused on the programs, courses, and credentials that universities have to offer. But most important for student success are those support services. Today with me, I have Joshua Mitchell, who is the Senior Director of Student Affairs. Thanks for joining us, Josh.
Thanks, Kim.
Can you tell us a little bit about what student services are like at KPU?
Yeah, you bet. So student services at KPU really are all about empowering students to engage with their university experience, engage with their studies, really to see them thrive. We know that a lot of students are coming to university with a dream for their future. And in some cases that's really refined, it's very clear. At the same time, we know that in a lot of cases, if not the majority, students are using the university experience. They're really looking to the experience as a place where they can clarify how their educational goals and creating a plan can really align to what they have in mind for themselves for the future. And in student services, what we're here to do is to help them succeed with all of that.
That's amazing. Can you tell me a bit more about what student services does here?
Sure thing. At KPU, it's a really broad collection of departments and functions. They can usually be distilled into two kinds of areas. There's the Office of the Registrar, who looks after really critical things like admission to the university, fee payment, transfer credit, issuing transcripts and credentials. Then we have areas like Student Affairs, where our focus is really around three core themes: student success, student health and well-being, and career preparation and development. And that sees departments like academic advising, student awards and financial assistance, accessibility services, orientation, our learning centers, our multi-phase centers, Indigenous services for students, all coming together to provide support to individual learners. There are also some really important departments that sit outside of what we formally call student services. So those are things like our libraries, which nearly every student is going to access at some point in their career with us. And also areas like KPU International, who provide supports to international students as they're coming to Canada and supporting their transition to studies at KPU and studies in Canada.
KPU has so much. Can you tell us a bit more about what people should know about student services at KPU?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think first and foremost, the most important thing is that we're here to help. More than that, we want to help. That's really our role within the university. If a student has a question, we really want them to come forward and just ask. If there's one thing that we're worried about, it's about a student who's spending time on an unnecessary task or even more critically, unnecessary worry. We're a big community of about 20,000 students and then faculty and staff on top of that, but we really do, we spend the time to focus on the individual needs and experiences that each learner brings. And I think that goes a long way also to making sure that students feel that it's a tight-knit community where we pay attention to their needs. Something also that I think is important for people to know, KPU can be a little bit humble sometimes. And sometimes that gets in the way of the fact of people being aware that in a lot of ways we're very much at the leading edge. If we look at new programming and services like our recently launched 24/7 Keep Me Safe student support program, which provides students with free unlimited 24/7 access to counseling services through chat, through phone, in multiple languages. In 2006, we were one of the first Canadian post-secondary institutions to roll out an early alert program, which still exists and thrives to this day, connecting students through their faculty, through their instructors, to student services and programs if they're struggling in their classes. Our learning centers, which are nationally recognized as one of the leading peer tutoring programs in the country, and provide all KPU students with access to free tutoring and study skill support. And also more recently our Z-Cred initiative, where there's just an expanding list of programs and courses which provide students with an opportunity to study with no required textbook costs. Everything is online or free.
It's really student focused.
Yes, it is.
What advice would you give to a new student?
Great question. I think first and foremost, it's that it's never too early to start planning. Even 6 to 12 months out from when you plan to start studying with us is not too early. So whether that's things like your financial plan and other really critical essentials like that, if you have questions about what kind of funding exists, how do I access it, go to our Student Awards and Financial Assistance website, spend some time learning there, and book an appointment with an advisor if you still have questions. Accessibility services, if you're a learner who has physical or cognitive or mental health disabilities or other chronic conditions that are barriers to your ability to study in a program with us, go to our accessibility services website, learn about how we can support those issues, and book an appointment with an accessibility advisor so that we can start to put together a plan for when your studies with us do start. The starting place for all students at KPU is new student orientation. And that's really the place where we start to work with students to not only help them to understand how KPU works and what their experience might be like, but also to help set the foundation for their success with us and how they're going to navigate through their studies at KPU. And last but not least, to think about getting involved. And that's a really important focus of new student orientation. But study after study shows that students who do get involved with campus life, whether that's through student government, whether that's through volunteering, on-campus employment, clubs, or sport and recreation, not only do they have a better university experience, they do better in their studies, and they make really important connections that are often part of their network for life long after they've graduated from KPU.
And really helps to build their resume while they're still in school.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And as a polytechnic university, that is a critical part of our focus.
Absolutely. And you have paid work on campus?
Absolutely, we have paid work on campus. Sometimes those are formal programs like work study or co-op, and sometimes less formal than that.
Excellent. Now, why would you tell somebody to choose KPU?
You know, at the end of the day, for me, it boils down to the attention that we're able to give individual learners. That's certainly true in student services. That is our focus, the individual needs and experiences that our learners bring. But that's mirrored in our classrooms as well, where our faculty and our academic programs are able to work with students in such a close, focused way to get to know them on a name-by-name basis. That's really a remarkable opportunity for an institution of our size.
Absolutely. Well, Josh, I'd really like to thank you for joining us today, and we're just excited to have our viewers know and understand a little bit more about student services.
Great, thanks so much, Kim.
Thank you.
Welcome to The Gathering Place. My name is Samantha Daniels. I'm the Indigenous Community Coordinator here at Kwantlen Polytechnic University. So here at The Gathering Place, we have a lot of different activities that are held here. We have community-based activities as well as teachers use this space for their class, and they can actually request our elder Lakaten to come in to give a welcoming, to give the territorial acknowledgement, as well as to help in the class and touch on different parts of history. So a couple different examples of support that us here at Indigenous Services for Students provide are help students find funding either through their band or through scholarships or bursaries, as well as any community referrals. So if they need help with housing or anything like that, we would be where they would come and get the help. So The Gathering Place is in the area of my department, so Indigenous Services for Students, but it's open to everyone. So any student can come here, feel safe, they can use the computers, they can use the nice seats here, so they can read, they can study, they can hang out with their friends and have lunch. It's open to everyone, and we would love for everyone to come and see this space. So today, my friends, I'm going to show you how to make an Indigenous medicine pouch. So not every single nation makes their own medicine pouches, but mine, which is Anishinaabe and Ojibwe, they do, and I'll show you how to make it. Okay, my friends, here we are out on Kwantlen Nation. I'm gonna show you how to make a medicine bag. Couple different steps. First step, you're gonna take your artificial sinew and your leather needle. Be very careful, it's very sharp. What I like to do,
a little bit wet. The best part of any sewing, any type of beading, is trying to thread the needle, like so. And I choose a bead, purple, my favorite color, here we go. I'm gonna load it up. And then, the spacing is about only a couple, maybe a centimeter. And you wanna twist the needle, like so, instead of poking all the way through, so you poke yourself. It's a little bit of a process, but it's the best way to do it. So we've got it through. I'm gonna pull it through, and then you're actually gonna hook it back in to what you just pulled through and pull it tight. So it looks like so. All right, my friends, so once you've done that a few times, you will come up with something like this. You can make it however you like it. You can change the colors, you can do all one color, you can do, I've used the traditional colors here. And then you want to basically close it off, so close off the stitch. Basically what you do is you go in through one more time without a bead, and you tie about 3 small little knots, and then it'll be knotted off. So once you have it finished, that's when you actually put the medicines in the bag. We've got buffalo sage, we've got our dried cedar, or we can pick fresh cedar if we'd like. We have our tobacco, the most important one, and we have a couple different types of sage. You have your little, make sure it's open up, and then basically you can put the medicines right in there. You don't have to have a little bag or anything, it's all natural. That's how we usually do it. And you keep that with you. And you just fold it up like so. Ta-da! All right, my friends, thank you so much for spending some time with me and learning how to make a medicine pouch, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the virtual open house.
The English Language Studies Department at KPU welcomes newcomers to Canada and international students in order to improve their reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills. I'm here today with Gwyn, who has completed the English Language Studies program, and we're going to hear a little bit more about her experience. So Gwyn, thanks for joining us. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Hello everyone, hello Kim. I'm Gwyn and I'm an international student coming from Vietnam. I was an ESL student at KPU last year. I completed it just last summer. It has been a year, and now I'm a current student in KPU. My major is marketing management.
Can you tell me how you feel that the KPU, your experience at KPU has changed you?
So far, my experience at KPU is so good. I was so worried, and I don't know like how's my study will be because English is not my first language. And I think I'm gonna have a lot of difficulty in understanding what professors lectures. But studying at KPU, especially ESL program, enhance my confidence and help me believe in my success. Especially KPU professor encouraged me that you can do that, it will be fine.
What advice would you give to somebody watching at home right now who would like to attend university but are a little bit worried about whether they'd be able to handle the university courses or that if their English wasn't very good?
That's what me last 2 years, but believe me, you can do that as I can. And just like asking questions because instructor will be more than happy to help you with that if you ask them. It requires a lot of work, but if you put work in it, you can get through it.
So
So hi, my name is Catherine. I teach in the chemistry department here at KPU. We offer first and second year chemistry to support our other science departments. And what I'm going to do for you today is a quick demonstration of some of the different properties of dry ice. Dry ice I've got in my little cooler back here. It's really cold. It's at minus 78 degrees Celsius. What I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer some of this, and since it's so cold, I need to use these tongs to prevent my fingers from freezing off. So I'll put a few pellets in there. And you might already be able to see that there's some fog being formed in there. We're going to make a lot more fog by pouring some warm water over it. So that's going, you can see the fog is filling up in this pop bottle, but we can do something else too. So what I've got here is some bubble solution, and I'm going to fill this up with some gas. Grow a bubble with some dry ice fog inside. If I'm lucky, those will stay on this towel I've got. So the fog stays inside, and come on, there we go. All right, I can also just pop it with my finger and watch all of that fog disappear. Got another one for you as well. So here, I've got a graduated cylinder. It's filled with something called the universal indicator. So this is going to change color depending on what the pH is. Right now, the pH is very high, it's very basic, and so it's a dark purple color. And you'll see what happens. It'll change color if there's acid inside. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put one piece. Yeah, just one piece of dry ice inside, and we'll see how that goes. And you can see that at the beginning, it makes the same sort of fog, and come on, fog. The color starts to gradually change through to this yellow color. So this tells us that when carbon dioxide dissolves in water, it makes an acid. So that's it for me. Enjoy the rest of your time at our virtual open house.
Welcome everyone to the Wilson School of Design. My name is Sharon Greeno. I've been teaching in the Faculty of Fashion Marketing and Fashion and Technology for 23 years. This will be my 40th anniversary of starting university, so I can very much empathize with all of the things that you're trying to figure out about where will I go to university, what will I do next with my life. And my big claim to fame is talking to people. I'm really, really curious about who people are, what makes them tick, what we have in common. So I believe that networking is a skill that you need to authenticate for yourself. And networking can seem a bit scary when you think, oh my goodness, what does it mean? But for me, it just means that having a conversation with someone that you don't know very well. And you can network anywhere. You can network on the bus, you can network online, you need to ask questions and find out what you have in common with other people. You can do that by doing some research on the location that you're going to be at, the people that you might meet, what you're interested to know, and just be genuinely prepared and then be natural. Conversations will take you in the right place. Often those are the things that matter to someone that is busier than you, is that you think about, how do I make it easy for the person I'm asking a question to say, yes, sure, I'd love to meet. And those are things that are simple to do because not everybody does them consistently. So do your research, be prepared, be organized so there's not a lot of back and forth. Think about how you can make the scenario that you want or the appointment that you want easier for the person that you're asking to meet with you. And everybody will say yes. And if they say no, in your head, put in parentheses, no, not this time, and ask again later, or ask someone else. You don't know what's just happened in their day, and it's never usually personal. If you really want to make a good first impression, you want to do the things that are easy, and that is, what are you going to wear? How comfortable can you be? How can you use your clothing as a way to feel more confident, to look the part of a role that you're playing, so maybe more professional. You just want to feel like you put your best image forward, and that image needs to be authentic for you. For me, I use clothes so that I feel confident, so that I sit up straight, so that I wear a color that makes me look my best, and I wear interesting jewelry perhaps, or a great pair of sneakers, something that is original, that it becomes a conversation starter. And then you can be, it's so easy to look people up on LinkedIn, or to Google them, or to see if they're on a public Instagram file, or in this case, you can look at any of the faculty or team members from the school just by looking at things on the website. I really encourage you to make the most of this open house. Everybody that you see, everybody that's spoken, everybody that has presented something or planned something is super invested in helping you, or they wouldn't have volunteered to help or speak. Thank you so much for participating and taking the time to listen to a few comments that I have to say. If you're interested in more information, you can go to the podcast, Where Do We Even Start?, which is a new podcast created by some of our current students in the Fashion and Technology program, and we are talking all about networking and what it's like to be a student here.
Hi, I'm Martina Solano-Bielen, and I am standing in the middle of the KPU brewery. I'm a lab instructor in the program, and I teach the hands-on practical techniques used in the industry to analyze the quality of raw materials, beer that's in process of being made, and also, of course, beer that is in bottles and cans. Around me, we have small brewing systems, which is where the first year's students usually start learning about the process of brewing. On my left hand, I have the fermenters, which is where we have all that beautiful malt juice that they've extracted in here turn into beer. Behind me, we have some bright beer tanks, which is where the beer gets carbonated. And then on the other side there, a little bit further back, we have the pilot system, which is kind of like a small scale version of what is used in the industry. And so this is where students really get hands-on experience of systems that are out there in the industry. So now I'm going to tell you about some tips for when you're drinking some beer. The first tip is always try and drink beer before you eat anything else like chewing gum or coffee or anything that is going to make your mouth not taste anything else afterwards. So try to avoid any strong flavors just before you're going to be drinking beer. That way you'll really get the full experience of tasting all the beautiful compounds that are inside the beer. Tip number 2 is going to be to try and drink beers from lightest to darkest. So here, for example, I have a Lime Goes, a Belgian IPA, and a Stout. So if I would have a flight of beers and I was going to drink these, I would always start with like the lightest beer, because again, I don't want to have any strong flavors afterwards that are going to impede getting the nuances of the lighter beers. So I would start with this one. Okay. I would be expecting very strong flavors in the IPA because of the hops. IPAs usually will have a lot of hop inside, and so it's going to have a higher bitterness. Darker beers have roasted malts and therefore are going to have a higher roasted flavor, which also is a pretty strong flavor. Just like in coffee, there are roasted flavors. And so those are also type of flavors that you want to leave for the end of your tasting. And tip number 3 is to really smell the beer before you taste it, because that way you're going to really get all the flavor compounds in your nose and in your mouth. So for example, this Lime Goes, in order to release those really volatile compounds that will get in my nose better, I'm going to swirl it a little bit and warm it up with my hand, then get it close to my nose, And yeah, try to think about what comes to your mind when you're smelling it so that you're really like making your brain do an exercise, not just drinking for drinking. So I get like lime and citrus, sourness. So yeah, I'm expecting, now that I know all of this, I'm expecting kind of like what I'm gonna be drinking in my mouth, and so what I'm gonna be like flavoring. For this one, it's a Belgian IPA. Again, I'm gonna swirl a little bit, heat it up, and then, yeah, like, again, try to think about what comes to your mind. So in this case, it's hops, and like, there's actually also a lot of sweetness. It could be like melons. Describe, if it's sweet, try to describe what type of sweetness. Maybe it's fruit, maybe it's candy. If it's fruit, try and go a little bit further and say what type of fruit. If not, that's okay too. And then finally, I have a stout here. So with stouts, I'm going to, again, expect a little bit of roasty flavors mostly, but sometimes also those can come up through the nose a lot, just like coffee has very nice aroma. So in this case, yeah, it's, as I said, just roasty and toasty and all those nice flavors that coffee usually give too. If you do this, you're going to really get a lot more of your beers than just drinking it. And yeah, try different styles of beer until you find the one that you really love. And it could be that in different times of the year, you'll feel like different things. For example, during the summer, I'm super for like sours and like really hoppy beers. But then in the winter, I'll be more for a stout or a nutty brown. So go ahead and try and use these tips, hopefully, to really discover each style of beer and find the one that you really like. So if you're interested about the program, visit kpu.ca/brew to get more information. Cheers!
My name is Wajia Rahman and I'm a fourth year student majoring in accounting in the School of Business. I am a member of the KPU CAN Club as the Vice President Internal, and we are a club that is associated closely with the School of Business, and so we are students helping students. The benefit of being part of KPU CAN is you really get to build those connections with like-minded peers. Not only are you able to connect with instructors and faculty members, but also the leaders of tomorrow. Your peers are going to be the ones that will be utilizing in the next generation of the people going into the workforce. And therefore, you're able to create those connections now and build on those networking skills. Moreover, you're able to meet and present to global leaders across the world and across Canada as well in international and national competitions. Through this training, it is very recognized with professors in KPU and across schools in BC. And so not only are you able to go and benefit from growing in KPU, but also growing as an individual. The culture of KPU CAN is very open-minded. We include and we encourage diversity among our student groups. Now this can include members from the first year to the fourth years. So we really encourage you to get started and get integrated into the KPU CAN as early as possible to ensure that you're able to enhance those connections and be able to provide and compete in those case competitions to build your skills and grow as an individual at KPU. A case competition is an opportunity for students to really connect with one another and have the initiative to showcase their problem-solving skills and also to utilize their team-building skills as well. This is a really unique opportunity to network with employers and industry leaders across the globe and get their connections and also build your career path. My experience in the case competition has been very positive. In January of 2020, I had the opportunity to travel with 3 other KPU members to go for a case competition that took place in Winnipeg. This was called Basque, and we were able to represent KPU as a community. Now, in the case competition, what we do is we take a look at a case that provided to us, provide a solution, and present that solution in a 3-hour time span. We present to real industry leaders that are able to provide and critique our work and provide those real-life solutions. We're also able to hone those problem-solving skills and get that experience. We had a case that was based off the Forks, which is an actual company in Winnipeg. When we presented our case solution, we were unaware that we were actually presenting and being judged by the VP of Finance for the Forks company. Therefore, we're providing a real-life solution to a real-life problem that the company was currently facing. And through all this, we're able to provide a solution that the VP of Finance and 6 other judges deemed praisable to be in second place out of 6 universities and 9 teams nationally. When we went to Winnipeg, I was not only able to build my experience in case competitions, but also experience the community of Winnipeg. This was an all-expenses paid trip that was provided by the School of Business and KPU CAN, which is a unique opportunity that only provided at KPU. When we went to Winnipeg, we were able to experience the Human Rights Museum as a team, being able to talk to each other about our like experiences in that Human Rights Museum allowed us to create an unbreakable bond and also make a unique story that we're able to pass forward to other students to inspire. When we were representing KPU as a whole, we're able to showcase that KPU as a university was able to give us those problem-solving skills and those skills that are sought after by employers. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story as KPU CAN's VP Internal and also as a part of KPU's community. We hope you enjoy the rest of the virtual open house.
Hi, I'm Gerard. I'm the instructor of the Farrier program here at KPU on the Cloverdale campus. Most people don't know what a farrier is. A farrier is the horse mechanic, the person that takes care of the horse's hoof needs. So we take care of trimming the horse's hooves and providing them with whatever footwear they're going to need. Traditionally that has been a steel shoe, and today it could be anything from a steel shoe to a plastic or rubber boot. So the farrier program here at Kwantlen, we've been here for 45 years, and just recently we completely revamped the program. The goal still is to introduce people to the trade, and then they're going to go out in the field and complete their education. So our program here is 30 weeks long, and we will teach the essential skills, the practical skills, plus the theoretical knowledge and the professional behaviours that a student will need to have to then enter into a proper apprenticeship and eventually start their own business. Every farrier in North America, Canada or the US is a self-employed individual. So one of the most important skills that a farrier has to develop is self-management and the discipline to be able to run their own business. And that can be an advantage or a disadvantage depending on the type of personality you are. The other strengths, of course, that you need to bring to the program are that you love horses and that you like interacting with people out in the field. It's an outdoors job, so very little of it will be done in an indoors setting. You will be working in barns, but quite often it's at the entranceway to the barn. So summer and winter, you're mostly outside in the fresh air, doing a really physical job, but surprisingly for most people, they find that it's very mentally challenging as well. The physical part of it is probably the easiest part to master. It's the mental part of managing the horses, managing the clients, and managing yourself. So the program has been completely revamped, and this is a great opportunity for us to make sure we're as up to date as possible. As you'll see in some of the rest of the video, the shop that we work in is state of the art. It was built about 10 years ago, specially designed for what we do here. We have a steady clientele of horses that come to the shop. The shop is run as a not-for-profit business, so right from the beginning, students get the opportunities to work on live horses and develop those skills that they need to have to then go out and be an apprentice. One of the biggest changes we've made in the new program is a practicum portion that we've built into the program. So now students, instead of spending their time in an artificial environment such as our shop, will mix that up with 240 hours out in the field working with farriers one-on-one in the environment that they're going to eventually earn their living in. So thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to explain what a farrier is, what we do at KPU on the Cloverdale campus, and giving everyone an introduction to farriery.
I'm Erin. I'm one of the lab educators here at KPU. At KPU, we have high fidelity labs that can actually mimic an exact clinical experience. We have mannequins that you are able to actually feel and palpate different pulses and auscultate and listen to lung sounds, bowel sounds. We have the capacity to set the mannequins up to observe what you're doing as far as recording you and giving you feedback, usually in a clinical group or setting with other students. We have a one-way mirror that we can provide you with feedback as well, so you can adjust your skills. We have the capacity to change the clinical environment by changing the parameters of lung sounds, bowel sounds, vital sounds that you can actually auscultate and listen to and pick up on in the KPU lab here. At KPU, having the high fidelity labs offers students a high-tech experience and valuable hands-on experience for doing skills and practicing skills within a high-tech, high-fidelity environment. The feedback that we give you is invaluable for you to take with you into a clinical type setting.
Hi, my name's Tom Westgate. I'm the Appliance Services Technician Instructor, and we're doing a virtual open house today. And we're going to be doing an over-the-range microwave uninstallation and service. The student today that's going to help me is Parm, and he's going to help us uninstall the overhead range microwave. Tilt it. Tilt it. Okay, lift this up. Part of the study in the appliance servicing program in this module of microwaves is to teach students how safely to work on these products. We have a high voltage system on here up to 4,000 volts. A technician must know exactly how to work with this. Number one, they must never check the circuit with high voltage because it is very deadly. So no do-it-yourselfer should ever try this. So we show them how to work on this safely and simply without having to check voltages. So this is what we do in this course, is teach them wiring diagrams, how to read them, how to break this system down into the high voltage and low voltage system, and how to go at it in a logical manner of service. And when the students finish the microwave, which is the last part of our course, they're able to service any microwave. And that skill set has to be trained into them. It's not something you can just go watch a video online, because without the knowledge behind it, it's dangerous. And the goal of everything we teach here is having the student prove their diagnosis. We do not want a student leaving here and not being able to diagnose products properly, because that increases the cost to the consumer. And the students that have come through these programs have built a great reputation for KPU in the industry, and we want to maintain that. Thank you all for having joined us today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the virtual tour of the open house.
My name is Andrew Frank. I am an instructor in the Public Relations Diploma program here at KPU. Public relations is the strategic management of relationships between organizations and businesses and their audiences. Really, it comes down to using communication strategy and creative communication to develop beneficial relationships with audiences and to help achieve organizational goals. In practice, that means using things like social media, video, and creative writing to connect with audiences and to persuade them, to inform them, to build those relationships. The Diploma in Public Relations is a 2-year, full-time, 60-credit diploma. It's split in half, so half of the courses come directly from public relations and the other half are drawn from across the university in areas like business education, writing, Indigenous studies, ethics, as well as electives that students might choose to take. There's never been a better time to get into public relations. As the COVID-19 pandemic has shown us, clear, ethical, effective communication has never been more important. And we're really excited about the redesign that we've just done with the PR diploma. The new diploma is flexible, so students can study at their own pace. It's open intake. It's also extendable. They can use the diploma towards another degree at KPU. So a PR diploma can count towards half of the credits of a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism or a Bachelor of Business Management in Marketing, for example. And finally, we're also credible and we're current. Through this redesign process, we've worked closely with industry professionals in the public relations field. We have a professional advisory committee that had direct input on the redesign of our curriculum. Some of the new courses that we're really excited about include social media for public relations, production and design, crisis communication, and also PR campaign and event management. So our program really emphasizes experiential learning, which means learning by doing. So for example, our students will partner with local organizations in the community to either help raise money, for example, by organizing a fundraising event, or by working with media to help raise awareness of an issue or a charitable cause. Students who are interested in PR and going into the field are students who have a passion for communication, for building relationships with people, for using creative and strategic thinking to help solve real-world problems and challenges. So if you're curious about public relations, we encourage you to take one of our Introduction to Public Relations courses. All of our courses are now available as electives to any student in the university. You don't need to be enrolled in the program. And by taking one of those courses, you'll probably get a chance to see if public relations is for you. Thanks for taking time to learn about the Public Relations Diploma. We hope you enjoy the rest of the virtual open house.
My name is Eleanor Hannon. I am the teacher, the instructor for surface design in the Fashion Design and Technology program. I'm going to show you a simple process today that we call solar dyeing, but really it's just a little subset of dyeing with natural plants, plant materials. Let's begin. I have a jar of silk, which is labeled, and I have a jar of cellulose fiber. You might notice in the jars that the fibers have also been, their weight has been labeled. So our fibers have first of all been washed, and then it is gone through a process called mordanting. Every single aspect that we do to get the dye onto the cloth is done in the hot sunlight. You must use glass to do the process because you're requiring that glass to get hot. So everything you see here that's been prepared, pre-prepared, has been prepared in hot window, in hot sunlight. We're just going to take one jar here and I will show you the process. So this is our jar, our silk jar. And this silk jar has been sitting in a mordant. And over here is our mordant powder. So the mordant is called alum. You're going to take the silk out of the jar. So I'll just show you everybody it's wet. So I'm going to remove it from my alum mordant. I'm going to wring it out a little bit. So lay down a piece of textile or towel or even plastic in front of you so that you are putting the mordanted fabric not on a good table surface or something like that. I'm going to lay out my piece of silk. We're going to today try solar dyeing with different plant materials, rose petals, onion skins, turmeric splotches. It's fully on the fabric, so I could now make a garment out of this. This dye is going nowhere. The fabric, if properly prepared, will give you a permanently dyed piece of fabric. Now, I'm just going to show you it's such a simple process. So I'm just going to choose some of my materials that I might want to use. So I'll choose a few of these dahlia petals. So I'm going to put an onion skin here. I'm going to put a bit of eucalyptus. Here's one of the most effective things as well. It's black tea. And this is a bit of turmeric. I've got a piece of very wilted old hydrangea. So you can use plant material that is as old as this piece is. In this particular process, we cannot necessarily tell where everything is going to be laid out because this is going to be bound up. But one thing I am going to suggest that you do prior to rolling up your cloth is just take your camera and photograph what you've got so that I can tell what I've done my dyeing process with. So I'm just going to photograph it. I just want you to mention here also, everybody, even though I'm working with plant material and silk, you can see I have gloves on. In doing any of these processes, especially when I have a mordant on the cloth, I am encouraging you to wear gloves. So what I'm going to do here, awkward, yes, for sure. I'm going to roll up this little piece of silk. So I get this delicious looking roll of cloth. So what I'm going to do here is I'm now going to bind this bundle with some string. And now here is the magic is going to happen. I'm going to take my little glass sealer jar. I want my jar to be just a little bit wet, but not with liquid floating in it. And I'm going to put my silk bundle inside the jar, close it up, and I'm going to go and put this in a hot, sunny window. We're going to take this jar that's been sitting up in the window for about 2 days. So this has been about 48 hours. And I just want to show you what it looks like now. So it's been up there, it's been in the hot, sunny window. It's middle of summer right now. And my string was white to begin with. And the string is a cotton string, so you can see that it actually has dyed the cotton string as well. We're going to begin to unwrap the piece of silk. This is always the fun part. It's so exciting. All of us are always waiting in anticipation for each other's pieces. So I'm just going to get just what you need to have in front of you when you're going to take apart your piece. So I'm unbinding it. This material can then be a couple of things. It can be recycled, of course, composted. It's gorgeous composting material because it's nice and broken down. It actually can be reused. So we can actually take this plant material and try dyeing with it again. Most of the plant material on this fabric is the plant materials that you see here. Tiny bit of turmeric. You can see all these little speckles are black tea. All these little spots, some of them are still hanging on there, are the reddish colored dahlias. So you can see that beautiful effect. So let's just look at it for a moment. Here we have our fabric. We're putting it into a clean basin. It doesn't look clean, but it's a clean basin. And you're going to put it in the basin and just mush it around in the basin a little bit to remove all the excess plant materials. So you can see here's our fiber. Now it's wet, so bear that in mind. When it dries, it will look so very fantastic. The piece just simply has to dry, and it will be beautiful once it's dried, and the colors richen as it dries. And that's the end of our process. This is solar dyeing. It's called solar dyeing, and dyeing with sunlight. So the sunlight is replacing the hot heat of a pot. And thank you for joining me in learning about the process of solar dyeing, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the virtual open house.
Welcome. My name is Dua. I am one of the lab instructors for the Anatomy and Physiology Lab, or AMP Lab, as we like to call it, here at KPU's Langley campus. The AMP Lab is part of the Biology Department in the Faculty of Science and Horticulture. In Anatomy and Physiology courses, students study the major organ systems of the human body, including the nervous system and the endocrine system, as well as microbiology. In the AMP Lab, we have lots of learning materials and hands-on opportunities to help enrich our students' learning experience. Some of the materials that we have here include a model of the human circulatory system showing the major blood vessels present in the body. One interesting fact about our blood vessels is that if they were laid end to end, all the blood vessels in the human body would encircle the earth more than twice. One of the interesting topics that we cover here in the lab is learning about human bones and skeletons. Here we have both artificial and real bones, like this example that shows the bones found in our feet. We also have artificial skeletons and real human skeletons. One quick way we can tell them apart is by looking at the jaw. Real ones don't usually have perfectly aligned teeth, and they may not even be complete. It's getting quite spooky in here. Let's move on. Over here, we have posters and models. For example, this poster shows the human nervous system, detailing the different parts of the brain, spinal cord, nerves, and neurons. And over here, we have a model of a neuron showing its different parts, as well as a model of a brain showing its different regions. All of our models are highly detailed and well labeled. To provide students with simulations of real life and hands-on experience, here we dissect both preserved and fresh organs of some animal byproducts. We also have displays of preserved human organs. For example, over here we have samples of human lungs, one from a non-smoker and another from a smoker, where we can clearly see the dark spots, indicating the presence of traces of carbon particles. I hope that you've enjoyed this mini tour of our KPU's Anatomy and Physiology Lab. If you'd like to learn more about our program, please visit our faculty website at kpu.ca/science or email study@kpu.ca. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, I'm Chad Skelton. I'm the chair of the Journalism and Communication Studies Department at Kwantlen Polytechnic University. And we're going to do a quick little fake news quiz. There's going to be 5 pictures. Some of them are fake, some of them are real, and you're going to try to guess which is which. All right, picture number 1. In 2018, US President Donald Trump boarded Air Force One with toilet paper stuck to his shoe. Is this true or is this fake? This one is true. It was actually an embarrassing video as Trump boarded Air Force One that everyone could see the toilet paper. It was a little scandal for about 2 days. Photo number 2. During the flooding after Hurricane Harvey in 2017, a shark was photographed swimming along a flooded highway in Houston, Texas. Is this true or is this fake? And this one is completely fake. And not only is it fake, but it basically comes up every single time there's a hurricane. The exact same image of a shark swimming along the highway is distributed on social media, so watch out for it the next time there's a hurricane. Photo number 3. Shortly after US President Donald Trump's inauguration, this photo became public of Trump with his parents wearing Ku Klux Klan outfits. Is this photo true or is this photo fake? So this photo is fake, and it's actually one of my favorites because a lot of people like to think it's only right-wing people that fall victim to fake news, but this is the kind of fake news that if you don't like Donald Trump, you're very likely to fall victim to. Photo number 4. During the 2019 Canadian federal election, a photo emerged of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in brownface at a party 18 years ago. Is this photo true or is it fake? So this one is true. If you're a political junkie, you probably remembered this from the last federal election campaign. It caused quite a scandal, and some people say is why Trudeau only won a minority government. And the 5th and final photo, during the 2017 Oscars telecast, actors Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway accidentally announced the wrong winner for Best Picture, saying the winner was La La Land when it was actually Moonlight. Did this really happen? Is it true or is it fake? All right, so this one is true. To my knowledge, it's the only time they've announced the wrong winner for Best Picture at the Oscars. So again, I'm Chad Skelton from KPU Journalism. KPU is the only university in the Lower Mainland that has a 4-year Bachelor of Journalism program. But even if you don't decide to major in journalism, we have lots of cool courses you can take in electives, everything from podcasting to photojournalism. And if you're looking to get a bit of a flavor for what journalism is like, I highly recommend you check out our first-year courses, Intro to Journalism and Citizen Journalism. Thanks very much for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the open house.
When I was in high school, I had a drafting assignment to design a house from scratch.
And when I finished high school, I wanted to come to university to develop my writing skills and major in English.
I didn't know much English, but I wanted to study my passion, music. My first ELS class at KPU was awesome.
I went to nursing school in Romania, and when I moved to Canada with my family, I knew I would need to meet additional requirements before I could become a registered nurse here.
KPU had the community feel I wanted in a university and accepted more for my transfer credits than any other institution I was applying to.
I knew when I started post-secondary that I eventually wanted to go to grad school. I worked closely with an advisor to plan my semester, and I finished my degree in 3 years instead of 4.
People in my classes would say more than me, but my instructor would latch onto my ideas. It dawned on me that I was inherently able to take a step back and take a larger view of business. KPU prepared me well for a successful entrepreneurial journey.
Welding is artistic. It's not something that you can learn sitting in a chair. It requires a lot of determination as you practice something over and over while you continue trying to improve.
I am truly amazed and blessed by the encouragement and support I received in my journey at KPU. People from every sphere of the university, whether they're faculty members, staff, or students, are truly helpful and they motivate each other.
It's important to me as a person and a business owner to give back to society. That's why I've started an endowment at KPU for students with disabilities. Creating opportunities for others is my way of paying forward what KPU gave to me.
The ELS program prepares you for what you want to study next, for your career, for your future. I'm still working on my English, but when I finish the ELS program, I'll be ready to study music at the same school.
But I've recently come back to work at KPU as an interior designer. I am so proud to have been part of the project team for the Wilson School Design Building. It's like the cherry on top of my career.
If you bring your thought to light, KPU will certainly make it an action. My name is Remy, and I am a health science alumni from KPU.
On behalf of everyone at KPU, we hope you enjoyed the cool stuff that our faculty and staff put together for you today. We really are a place where thought meets action. Please keep your eye on our kpu.ca/open house page for future announcements for upcoming open houses. If you require more information on programs or how to apply to KPU, please contact domestic recruitment at study@kpu.ca or international at international@kpu.ca. Thank you again for joining us.